Hi, this is Heather Christensen with Envisioneering, and today I have with me Ashley Johnson, and we're going to have a conversation about how to manage stress or how to address stress um, in your work and professional life. So, Ashley, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Ashley Johnson. I am the marketing manager at a small business. And throughout the pandemic, I have noticed myself and my team suffering from some of the symptoms of burnout that you mentioned in one of your last videos about spotting signs of burnout. My first question for you is, how do you get your team involved in taking care of their mental health and avoiding burnout?
That's a good question, Ashley, and one that's important to answer because it's not enough to just spot the symptoms. Now we need to do something about stress. And one thing I learned, I knew there was a stress response in the body when you experience stress, but what I didn't know is there is a stress cycle. So it's one thing to experience stress and then this you go home from work or whatever and the stress is gone, but there is a completion of that cycle in that even though the stressor is removed, your body doesn't understand that the stress is now gone because it used to be if we got chased by a lion, the lion chased us, all the stress response, fight or flight happened, and we ran off into the bushes and got away from him. That running, that celebrating that we got away from him, all of those sorts of things are what activated our body to know we've taken care of the stressor. That doesn't happen in our modern world now today. And so it's important to complete the stress cycle because then it builds up actually physically and mentally. And this is often the cause of burnout is lots of stress cycles not being completed.
Makes total sense. When you think about a stress cycle being completed, what does that mean? Does it mean I have to solve the problem or is it something else?
Good question. Yeah, you don't have to solve the problem because actually the next day when you go to work, that stressor is still going to be there, right? And we talked earlier about that's a positive thing. It motivates us to do things. It gives us energy, but at the same time, you have to deal with the stress cycle. So dealing with the stress cycle, there's a really good book on this subject called Burnout. It's by Emily Nagoski and Amelia Nagoski. They talk a lot about what it is and how to deal with it. But they say the primary thing that you need to do in order to complete the stress cycle is exercise. That's the best thing that you can do. And then there's some other things that you can do as well. There's breathing exercises also signal to your body that the stress cycle is over and that this you can complete the stress cycle. Positive social interaction, which has been really tough these days as we've all been separated. Laughter, and not just kind of, oh, a little bit of laughter or a funny joke like the belly laugh. So pop a good movie in that makes you laugh every time. Affection, and it's not what you might think necessarily, it's actually hugging people while supporting your own weight for I think it's 20 seconds is what they say. And you'll actually feel this kind of letdown of anxiety or stress. A good cry is another one they mention, and creative expression like art or going to a paint and sip class or something like that with friends hits a lot of those bullet points. But either way, taking care of that stress cycle is important. And if you haven't been doing those things, there's a lot of stress cycles that have built up in your body. And they talk about even illness. One of the authors had some significant illness as a result of not completing these stress cycles. So if you do them and you don't feel instantly better, don't be discouraged. Um, they say it takes a lot of stress cycle, or it takes you a long time. Uh, or it'll take a little while to kind of unload that buildup that you've created or that you have from the buildup of stress. What
That
else?
actually really resonates with me. I can think of an example right offhand. I'll come back from a stressful day and my body and my mind just wants to sit on the couch, watch Netflix, play games on my phone all night. and but I really know that I should take my dogs for a walk, and or I should get out and do something. And if I make that decision at the end of the day to just take the dogs for a walk, and go, I will be so much better the rest of the night. If I sit on the couch, that's where I am the whole night. If I go out, I'll do a load of laundry later, sweep the kitchen floor, do the things that will otherwise just bug me. So I can see that personally for myself, absolutely. My last question for you is, as a leader, I know that I've spotted some of this on my team. What's my next steps? Where should I go from here?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's very important to figure out what is causing the burnout. So asking some carefully crafted questions of your team as to what the source is. It could be just them and the way they're addressing things, but a lot of times there's some other sort of misalignment of roles, like I talked about earlier, or some other stressor. So you need to get to the why the stress is even there, or the overwhelming amount of stress is there. There are obviously coping strategies and things like that, but if you can solve the root cause of the issue, or make it better, or involve the employee with solving the problem, you're going to be miles ahead in creating just a less stressful environment entirely for your employees.
Great advice. And I will plan some one-on-one meetings with my team right away. Um, that's the end of this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your expert advice, Heather. You guys be sure to follow her for a lot more content like this. Visit her website, envisioneeringllc.com. Thanks again.